Hello there, and welcome to day number 52 on the road to 2000 ELO Rapid Series. We're playing with the black pieces in this game with d4 and playing d5 here, and we're facing a Queen's Gambit, which we will, of course, decline. And I'm not used to this a3 move. I can't imagine it being that bad for white. Not entirely sure what it accomplished. Maybe they're trying to go b4, in which case maybe an early c5 makes sense, but then takes b4 anyways, so maybe not. But if I do want to play this move, I probably should play it now, just because if I wait a little bit, then b4 comes in, and then this is no longer playable, right? Yeah, because, wait, is it? Yeah, it's no longer playable, because after takes, I can't take back with the bishop. So let's play c5 now. If queen check, obviously we're going to play knight here. They play takes really quickly. Okay, so this is all theory probably for them. And yeah, so this is what I expected. I don't really mind this. I'm going to go bishop e7. I just wanted the pawn break in the middle. I'm wondering if I could maybe go queen check at some point. We'll keep that as an option for later. Do I want to go bishop e7 or do I want to go bishop d6? Bishop d6, I guess they have this, which could be annoying. Let's go bishop e7. And they're still playing this move. All right, this is a very, very aggressive line. If here, so maybe I'm going to play a6 myself, just not letting b5. Queen check, I still have knight c6, which is nice. Although here, knight c6, here, I can't take. Maybe I should have worried about that a little bit more. It's okay. Now we're going to play bishop d7 just to stop that threat from happening. We'll play knight c6 at some point. Okay, we can try. Do I develop the knight? I think I'll develop the knight. I could have played bishop f6, but actually bishop f6 might have been better. Now that I think about it, I might have played this a little too fast. We're gonna go knight c6 here. If b5 takes, bishop takes. Maybe I should think a little bit more. But if b5, I have queen check. So will be fine. Hopefully they don't. They play this. Takes would lose. Well, no, it wouldn't lose a piece because of knight here, but still wouldn't be great. Okay. They're offering a trade of knights. I don't have to take the trade. I'm just going to castle. We'll focus on king's safety here. I'm already down, like, quite significantly on the clock, so I might have to speed up a tiny bit. My opponent's playing really fast. Okay. Now what do I want to do? Should I go for a pawn break? I could play something like here, but then they have this, and then takes. A lot of pawn momentum here, huh? This becomes weak at the end of that line, though. Maybe I can play this. If here, then obviously takes. If knight takes, then probably b takes on c6. Because if they go here, then it would be a little annoying for my bishop. Although it would weaken this pawn considerably. Here, back. I'd rather have the option of an open b file. So let's do this. And I can reroute my bishop to a6, my light squared bishop. Because right now my light squared bishop's doing nothing. And we're just going to step back. I can take... Can I take? Is that a free? Oh, it's not free. The bishop's defending the rook. If not, then there would be a tactical way to win the pawn there, even though it looks like it's defended. We're going to go bishop c8 and probably bishop a6. Okay. Now let's see if we can get this. So this bishop's the annoying one, right? See if we can make that bishop move somewhere. Maybe I'll play queen. Or we can cover this square. So bishop a6 is what I wanted to play. The problem is that the rook just sidesteps to e1 where it wants to go anyway. So maybe I'll keep that bishop flexible. Maybe I'll push this pawn eventually. In order to do that, I'll play queen c7. Just make that pawn push possible. And yeah, I think I like the idea of e5 and d4, so maybe we'll do something like that. So here I was thinking e5, and e5 is very important right now because there's bishop takes, checkmate on the board. So we'll play e5. Is there a better way to stop this? Maybe I can play knight here. But then this looks bad for me. Oh, wait. I mean, there is this on the board right now. If bishop takes, obviously bishop takes queen, so you can't stay there. And there's no other way to stay on this diagonal. Let's do this. This looks like it just wins me a piece. But obviously I can't convert on this. Like once the... Well, actually I can convert on this. Bishop takes, and there's no more checkmate threat. So I'm pretty sure I just win an exchange here. I'm pretty sure I just win an exchange. I'm significantly down on time. I don't know how that happened so fast. I feel like I'm not playing super slowly. But I mean, clearly my opponent rushed a little bit too much here. Okay, we'll take the rook. There's no mate threat right now. We can go knight here, maybe? No, we can't. We have to defend this square. So maybe now is a good time to do something like this, or this even. Okay, how do we proceed here? I'd love to play this. Queen a7, queen a6. Okay, so the threat is that the queen will step back, but then I still have this move. Maybe I should create space for my king by going rook d8. And just to run away this way, in case. Or maybe I can just... No, I mean, h6 doesn't really do anything. The threat's the same. Is there any real threat now, though? I don't think there's a real threat right now. I still have this move, right? But I'm probably going to have to solidify this move. So maybe something like rook e8 makes sense. Rook e8, because this is a problem. This is a problem. I wish I could play this, but I can't. Should I play this now? Maybe I play this now. I don't care if I lose a pawn. Right? I think that makes sense. Like, queen takes, and I lose a pawn, but at least there's no mating threats, and I'm up in exchange. Why wouldn't I do this? And, like, even if they go here, then I'll just play this, and I don't mind losing a pawn and being able to get some initiative in the game. Open up the center, get my rooks active. I don't know if it's the right approach. Okay, they're going for this. I mean, okay. Here I'm less worried now, decidedly less worried. Let's play the rooks in the center. Or actually, I can take now. They can't take. We got tactics on the board. Actually, they can. They can take, but then I missed this. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll just go for this. I mean, might as well. We'll go here. And yeah, we're just up an exchange. We're down a pawn, but I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm curious why he's trading so quickly. He must feel good about this position, but like, I don't know. I can't imagine this being very good. Also, these pawns are very are on their own, but at the same time, like I don't understand how you're supposed to get them with your knight all the way over there, because the dark red bishop's not getting any of the light square pawns, right? This king's not going anywhere either. Okay, so maybe now he's trying, but we can just trade off the bishops now, and this rook versus knight endgame should be pretty good for me. Although I have to make sure not to blunder. Let's make a big pawn chain. I feel like that can't hurt. And then my goal is going to be to go after this pawn over here. So he's going to probably go after... Oh, okay. Um... All right. Should I let this pawn go? Is the question. I don't think so. I think I have to keep it. I think it's important for me to keep the pawn. Is the knight trapped? No, it's not. It's almost. Almost trapped. But it has this square. Also this square. Never mind, it's not trapped at all. Okay. See where it goes. Yeah, okay. Here, there's a check. No, there's no checks. No checks this way. He's gonna have to play something like this. Because now it's almost trapped. If you go here, I can pin you. Oh no, this is complicated. It's annoying because, oh, interesting. Here, where are you going with your knight? I don't see it. I think this just wins me a pawn. No checks. Yeah, I'm winning the pawn. There's no way to defend the pawn either because this gets taken, this gets taken. I'm just winning the pawn, and then there's no fork afterwards because my king and rook are next to each other. I have to make sure there's no check, but there isn't a check because sometimes it's possible for a check to deflect my king from the defense of a rook. Here, okay, I really don't care about that pawn. Check is not possible, so we're taking. He's gonna take, and then I'm gonna go here. And yeah, this should be smooth sailing. I might go there. I mean, he will. Like, he doesn't really have a choice. But, I mean, oh wow. What's that? What's that supposed to do? Here, there's no fork. Okay, I don't see it. If this worked, then that would be scary, but there's nothing there. Probably gonna play this check. Only reason why I can see him moving the knight there. He probably should have gone here right away. At least he would have been able to win a pawn back. And yeah, we'll just get rid of all the checks now. Okay. Here there's this, but it doesn't work. I'll just bring my king up. There's not a fork over there either. He's gonna go here. I'm just gonna move up. And yeah, it should be smooth sailing. Check here does nothing. I'm winning at least one of these pawns. Yeah, 2 minutes is more than enough time to convert, and we should be getting a win in this game. It's interesting, though, to see that it's not always extremely clear how to win a game when you're up material. I mean, it's not as simple as like, oh, I'm winning, so I'm going to finish the game, you know? And now the knight can't really go anywhere good. Okay, I'm gonna take. We're gonna take. There's a check, it doesn't do much. If I can't, okay, now I mean, yeah, this is simple. All right, good stuff. Good game. 2 mistakes made. So let's see what opportunities I missed. Maybe I missed some dangerous attacks. I know that there was a lot to be careful about in this game for me, and I thought I did a good job wading those waters, but let's see exactly what the analysis says. Okay, so interesting game. Let's see exactly how it played out in the analysis. We started with d4, d5, and afterwards c4, which is the Queen's Gambit, not the TV show, chess opening. After c4 is played, we played e6 here. Queen's Gambit declined. And then a3 is played. So this is not mainline theory, but it's not worse for white. So it's good to catch people playing as black off guard. Here I played c5, which is the best move. Something I typically like to do. I like playing these c-pawn and f-pawn pushes. And after takes, bishop takes, and then b4. Apparently I'm significantly better already. And okay, yeah, this is an idea I've already seen several months ago, but Queen F6 is the move, and you have to essentially disregard your opponent's move, realize that you can play a move with tempo, and after Queen F6, let's say they try to save their Rook, that's just really really bad because you're probably gonna win the game at this rate. So yeah, Queen F6 actually wins an exchange because you have to play B takes C5 and you have to give up your Rook. Uh, very cool stuff. But yeah, I didn't find the move. I just went back with my bishop, and this is still okay for black by all means. And here they overextend again with c5, and apparently I'm supposed to play a5. And a5 is also a concept that makes a lot of sense. The idea behind a5 is that if takes, then you can take the bishop, and you're probably winning this. You can take with the bishop, and you're probably winning the pawn that is now on the a file. So it's a good way of getting an advantage. Also, knight f6 for some reason is pretty good. I guess the idea is that a5 can always be played, so you might as well just develop your pieces normally. And here I play a6, which kind of ruins the whole point of a5. Now, e3 is played. Engine still wants a5. Of course, I'm not going to see it after playing a6, so I just develop my bishop to d7, and they develop their own to b2. And here, bring out my knight. And just basic chess. Apparently knight c6 is a little bit of an inaccuracy. I don't see why just yet. I feel like it's the natural developing square for the knight. The engine wants me to castle first, so maybe it has to do with my king's safety. And it also wants b6. Yeah, I don't see the logic behind this being inaccurate, but anyways. And here a knight d4 is played, and after castles, bishop d3. I finally go for a5, and takes happens. The reason why takes has to happen is that, let's say you take this pawn, for example. Well, now you're just worse. Oh, also, the queen can take the pawn with check, and yeah, I mean, that's not going to end well. So takes, and now castles, getting rid of the ideas of the checks. And here I slide my bishop back. Now, I was thinking of doing this because I wanted to get my bishop onto a6. I thought my bishop wasn't really good on d7. What I realize right now is that a more productive move... Okay, the engine says queen b8. I mean, my idea is similar. My idea is queen c7. Queen b8 slightly better because while queen c7 is also on this diagonal... Sorry. Also on this diagonal, queen b8 prevents pawn takes right now because that helps you lose a bishop. So, I mean, queen c7 I'm sure is not that bad either. Exactly. And the idea behind queen c7 is that you can actually play e5 and free up your bishop onto like the e6 square where it's a little bit more productive. But queen b8 is a nice move. So instead, I missed that. I played bishop c8. I wanted to reroute my bishop to a6. And I didn't do it right away. And here I'm really glad that I didn't do it right away because my opponent fell right into a big mistake. The idea behind this move is a strong idea. If it works, right? If it works, like let's say bishop takes knight game with check. So let's say I played this, which is what I did. But let's say they could play this as a free move where I cannot take their queen. If that were the case, I would be losing a whole piece, right? So bishop takes back, and then this is a checkmate. So I could not take this bishop back. But they failed to realize that they're making a threat that takes 2 moves. They missed a counter threat that only takes 1 move. And that's why it's so important to try to think about what your opponent's trying to accomplish or what they can do to respond to threats that you're making. And here they miss this, slide the queen out of the way, they lose a rook, they're down the exchange. And I played e5 because I was just scared of the bishops on these long diagonals. So I was like, okay, I don't mind losing a pawn if I get your queen, because then your attacking threats become less significant. Apparently, I could have just taken. Takes, and then if a takes, for example, then rook takes, and we just trade a lot of pieces, and apparently I stay solid here. The engine wants... Oh, queen takes h2. I didn't see queen takes h2. Yeah, that's on me. That's just me being silly. That's a free pawn right there. I could take it right away. But instead I played e5, and we traded queens. I lost the pawn, but I was like, all right, in this position, I'm up in exchange. Apparently, this is not completely winning. It's only -1, which is fair because from an objective material standpoint, it actually is -1. If we count all the material on the board, white has 6 pawns, I have 5, and I'm up in exchange, which is worth 2 points. So technically, I'm up 1 point overall. But for some reason, I thought that this was much better for me. And after we trade off the knight for the bishop, it is much better for me. But I imagine this is going to be very topsy-turvy. Here I went f5. Apparently I should have gone rook b8. Rook b8, the idea is probably that you have to play bishop c3 to defend, and then I can probably just trade off the bishops. I can trade off the bishops and I win this pawn. You're not going to be able to protect this pawn. So let's see, rook b8, bishop c3. Oh, bishop takes c5 is even better. I was considering that. I thought, okay, there's no way to win a bishop. I forgot I can try to attack the knight. That's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. So you're winning a pawn by brute force. And here I played f5 instead of just solidifying my pawn on e4. I mean, obviously, this is still winning for me. And I decided to trade off the bishops. And apparently, that's not something I should have done. I should have used the bishop to help convert my advantage. So a move like rook a8 here, or even rook b8, attacking something, is much, much more productive. And instead I trade the bishops. It's only -1 again now, because a rook versus a knight will depend heavily on what's on the board. And here there's a lot of pawns that close my rook down, while the knight is notoriously tricky when it comes to its maneuverability. It's very, very difficult to close in a knight, while it's a lot easier to close in a bishop or a rook. And so if my opponent played this well, it's very possible they could have gone for a draw. I wouldn't be surprised if I blundered any... Oh, yeah, already here. Here, rook f8 for some reason is drawing. Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea is that if they just get rid of all these pawns, or all of these pawns, they just have the pawn advantage, and I'm going to have to eventually sacrifice my rook for one of the pawns if they play accurately. That's smart. Like, that's one thing that I don't really think about, and it's a very common idea in chess, is the fact that it's often important when pawns are on the same files, and especially pawn chains are on the same files, you have to realize that they can be traded off very easily. It's hard not to trade off those pawns if you are able to defend everything else in your position, because eventually you're going to have to make those pawn pushes. And so it helps a lot to conceptualize the board without any of those pawns on it. And if we remove all of the pawns on my king side, so all these pawns, if we were to remove all of them, then we could look at an endgame where there's just a knight and a king with a knight, a king, and 2 pawns versus a rook, a king, and 1 pawn. And I don't think it's too hard to see here that it's really hard for me to win this game because this pawn is blocked. This pawn's not threatening to promote anytime soon. The knight and the king act as 2 pieces attacking my weak pawn. My rook and my king are defending my weak pawn. And ultimately, I don't think there's going to be any way for me to strengthen this pawn or to get it as a passer. And if my opponent just plays patiently, there's probably no way for me to win a game with just a rook, right? It'd be really, really hard, especially because the knight's there to block out squares and defend. So, yeah, interesting stuff. And so here, we're still drawing. And here I'm completely losing? Really? Okay. Well, okay. I mean, it's kind of easy now that I see the moves to see what the threat is. I'm surprised it's losing. I guess my my king just doesn't get back in time. b6, king f6, b7, here, c6. Yeah, my king just doesn't get back in time. Wow. Chess is hard, man. Chess is hard. Like, what can I say? Crazy. Really cool stuff. Okay, but my opponent didn't see it either. And I mean, it's hard to see if you're not used to these endgames. Very important to know for me, though, because I have an over-the-board tournament coming up soon, and this concept's going to be pretty important. I assume a lot of my games are going to go into the endgame. And yeah. And here, it's still a draw, but not once they play knight d7. What they should do is go knight c4. And what they should do is try to work together with the king to push this pawn as far as possible so the rook can never leave the c file, essentially. And oh, whoopsies. Sorry about that. Let's go all the way back to where their last move was. So here. Actually, no, it was here. Yeah, sorry. So here, yeah, I mean, they blundered the pawn, and the rest is fairly straightforward. So I'm going to skip through it all. And you trade the rook for the knight. Very instructive. No reason to keep your rook on the board when you just have a passed pawn that can promote. And it's a clean win. 1788 elo now. Not so bad. 12 elo away from 1800. We're hoping to reach that within 2 months, so within 60 days. It is currently day 52, so that's a very, very likely scenario. A very likely scenario. 12 points, which means probably 2 wins. Or a +2 technically in the next 8 games, so I could win 6. I can win 5 and lose 3, but ideally I'd want to win the next 2, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it a lot. If you're not subscribed already, when we hit 500 subscribers on the channel, I will be doing a detailed video recapping what I studied, what tools I used, and what mentality shift I applied in order to get from 1600 to 1800, hopefully when I hit 1800. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do consider subscribing. It's completely free to do. And yeah, I'll be back with another video tomorrow. My over-the-board tournament starts in 3 days. I'm very excited for it. I'll also be going to the World Chess Championship in Singapore, watching it live in person tomorrow. So if you're looking for content related to that, pictures, videos, that sort of thing, I'll be sharing that in my Discord server. Check the link in the description below to join the Discord server, and be sure to join my Twitch streams as well. It's where I live stream, and it's the most fun I have every day. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.